lifestyle. It is a culture that has reshaped society from the political to the social sphere. And now, the pioneers of this culture are being honored with the installation of the Hip Hop Museum. Leroy spoke to Osmic to find out more.
The South African Hip Hop Museum was a crazy idea conceptualized about 7 years ago. Started materializing about 6 years ago. And the point or the idea of it was, I got to a space where I started realizing that in South Africa, we don't have positive spaces where you can go there and find motivation, because a lot of the spaces is something to do with sadness. It's either apartheid museum or some colonial museum. And I thought to myself, look, let me create a space where like-minded, young-minded kids can go and find inspiration. And what better way to do it about a platform or a culture that I work from, and that's where the South African Hip Hop Museum comes in. And obviously it's based inside Museum Africa in Newtown. So they were also crazy enough to sort of buy into this idea to say, look, imagine this. And that's how we're standing here now. Space is quite big, so it's got different sections. So we obviously, behind us here, this is the Hennessy Wall of Fame, which we launched in 2019. And the space, obviously, it's looking at the 26 hip hop pioneers. The space obviously grows every 3 years. We add another pioneer. So it's looking at people literally all the way from a Ready D, POC, right down to the new legends, your Caspers, your Questas, And we've got a lot of interesting, cool stuff, man. I mean, for instance, we've got Mischief's rhyme book. We've got Pro Kids shoes. We've got a lot of the early vinyls that you can't find, cassette tapes, awards, whether it be a hip-hop award, whether it be a summer award from a squatter camp, so these are different kind of memorabilia we have. But I think what I'd also want to exaggerate on about, I think what makes the space a little bit unique is the fact that it's a functional museum, meaning you don't just come one day, visit, and then that's it. So like behind us also, there's a space where we hold workshops, we do launches, we do talks. Like for instance, we've got a hip hop summit coming up, which will be taking place here. There's a space where there's a recording studio here. We've got a full operational recording studio. We've got a full operational edit facility. So the space has all these I think magnificent things where young people can come in and interact with. But I think the key milestones is when you look at what groups such as your squatter camps have done, when you look at individuals such as your Emil, when you look at what Ready D, what Khocha, individuals such as your AK or your Caspers, for the fact that you've got this kid who is able to do all these amazing things, such as this dome. You look at brands such as your Bhutan Wear, looking at where they come from to what they've done, or even the Hennessy Back to the City festival that we do with over 25,000 people, because at some point it was a joke to do a festival where hip-hop people will come, but here we are. I think the beauty about the culture where it is that it's created a lot of entrepreneurs, because that's what the culture promotes. We call it hustling, but you're finding more and more, kids able to use a skill. Whether you're an artist, you become the graffiti guy who paints murals for corporates. Whether you're the beat maker, you're the guy who ends up doing scoring for TV work. So I think what is cool now is when we start looking at how everybody has become self-sustainable from the culture, because I always say these things, like if someone like me did it, anyone else can. I mean, I never had a job. I don't know how to type a CV. I don't know how to do those things. But since grade 3, I've been doing hip hop, and all those things I was doing in grade 3, I'm still doing them, just getting a little bit of money.